All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Monogatari, Often
Monster,
episode 2. Okay, so that was a really fun start. We had a whole awkward couple, good cop, bad cop situation with Yotsuki and Tsukiji.
Dead cop, and a rebirthing cop.
Exactly, different sort of phases
magical
of immortality.
Girl and oh god, it's a magical girl,
Right, exactly. Yeah. But that was put to rest, at least for now, but ice cream is a forever problem.
Yes.
So,
and this did continue. Probably.
This did continue, and if this episode begins with another ice cream problem or the continuation of that, I mean, hey, I'd be down.
See, all of this was to make one of those shorts or what have you, where when you click the end, it's still the beginning. So
right, and it sort of feeds into it forever.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, I'm enjoying the Monogatari return in the year of our Lord 2025.
It's great to see these characters again.
Yeah. So let's have some more fun. I want more sudden random Hachikuji arrivals. That would be
nice.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all. Without further ado, let's get into this.
戦国Nadekoの人生がもしも現在連載中の
Yes.
最新15巻までを一気読みしたとき、きっと私はこの主人公キャラがブレブレだな。
She's been through a lot, so it makes sense, but
長期連載にとっては避けられない宿命であって、そういう矛盾を含めて愛してこそ真のファンというものなのかも。一読者としてはやっぱり特進しかねるものがあります。
I don't know.
いえ、一読者としてはどころか。
I'm me.
You're a super fan. Yeah.
Right. And how do I want to write my story?
時々の私がまるで
Oh, yeah.
That's fairly normal.
たった一人の戦国Nadekoなのです。
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. She's outside.
All right, good job. Going for a jog?
Ogie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Incredible.
Yeah, 戦国ちゃん。
Yeah. All resolved. Yep.
に会ったことありますけど。
Now I'm just Hoshino's cousin.
私が扇さんを知らなくて、扇さんが私を知っていたような。
Oh.
今の僕にとっては戦国ちゃんは孫をことなき
Right.
Yes.
そうでした。
Exploring different sides of people. Yeah, they're all the same person though.
扇さんだなんてそんなよそよそしい呼び方をしなくてもいいよ。親しみを込めて扇お兄ちゃんと、あれでもほにゃらら先輩のことは
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yep.
なんてね。で戦国ちゃんはこれから学校かな。
So about that.
自転車は
Yeah, let's avoid that. I
Let's talk about
I might have
something
been
else.
trying or thinking about it, but scared.
学校に行くわけじゃないからご遠慮します。それでは
But it could be material. Riding double on a boy's bike.
姿の戦国ちゃんを見かけたから。
扇さんこの私を案内してください。私を探してたんです。
Oh,
cool. Okay.
yeah.
どんな分野でも一流と呼ばれるような人たちは必ず1万時間以上の鍛錬を
Yeah, they put at least 10,000 hours in, become proficiently.
は24時間しかありません。計算しやすくするためにこれを丸めて25
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
約1年と言い換えることができそうです。なんだ
I think the math goes the other way.
Yep.
楽勝
Oh, that's no problem.
人間は努力以外にも生活というものをしなくちゃいけません。生活は努力の上に来ます。努力は生活の
Sleep.
Eating, taking
Yeah.
a break from that thing so your brain can rest.
見積もってもせいぜい休憩を挟みつつの8時間が限度でしょう。
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, multiply that.
3時間イコール1年の方程式にはかける3をする
And it's still a bit too generous,
Yeah.
honestly.
年か。 ぶっちゃけ適度にうんざり
I've been in the 5 years category personally.
私のご両親から言われてしまったからです。いつまでもそんなバカなことを言
Oh.
ってなさいと。
Once you graduate from middle school?
そうかいそうかい。
Uh-huh.
小煩悩なパパとママもようやく重い腰ならぬ甘い腰を上げたってわけだ。おめでとうございます。
実際には困るどころか助かっています。このようにおののきちゃんはデッサンのモデルを
Ah,
Ah,
nice.
such dynamic poses.
バカって言われたわけじゃないよ。私のやってることがバカなことって言われたんだよ。
Oh.
今の私にできることはお父さんとお母さんを説得するためにも中学校を卒業するまでに
Classic.
皮肉なものだね。戦場ヶ原ひたぎに対して高校の卒業式までという期限を
Huh. That's
Yeah.
true.
今度は自分がそのタイムリミットに迫られることになるなんて。
That's fun.
What if you tried to bargain with your parents up to high school?
要するにお前が中学生デビューしてしまえばいいんだろう。
も
That would be crazy difficult.
片方は決しておすすめではないけれどね。
Okay.
う教えて。
It involves getting stuck in a time loop. No.
Right.
この案は取り下げて2つ目の方法をプレゼンしよう。
Okay.
僕がおすすめしない片方というのは2つ目の方なんだよ。
But you would recommend the first one.
残り1年でお前が1万時間。そうそこだよね。1万時間の法則の一番の穴は
It's just that it's 10,000 hours.
Right.
会えるための切符であるという定義は
You'd introduce her to
Ooh.
Nanorimo.
過ぎることは決して合理的じゃないんだ。
Yeah.
Well, and also what the quality of the practice is.
努力のクオリティなんだ。
Yeah.
努力の量を3倍にするんじゃなくってお前の人数を3倍にすればいいんだよ。
All right.
So draw like versions of yourself that can then
Yeah.
come into being and clone yourself.
Just
Yeah, yeah,
use
yeah.
Shadow Clone no Jutsu.
Yeah, yeah,
漫画家っていう仕事は基本的にアシスタントを含めた共同作業なわけじゃない。
yeah. Amazing.
よりは一つの組織のメンバー。
Yeah. You drew slugs, so why don't you draw a little
Right.
お前にはアシスタントどころかチームリーダーになれる資質があるかどうかも怪しいわけだけれど
Yeah, iffy, more like impossible, yeah.
だからアシスタントとして自分自身を4名準備する。
Let the chaos commence.
Right.
その代わりの足となってあっちこっちにフットワーク軽く動く役割を負っているんだよ。
Yes, but how does this help me?
このスケッチブックに4通りの自画像を描きなさい。4人の戦国なでこを描きなさい。
Fun. So these will be using the different versions of herself through the past
Right.
because those are ways in which she can differentiate. Otherwise, they're going to be like too similar, you know?
くためにお前の中に残存していたなめくじ豆腐をプロの腕前で巧みに利用させてもらったわけだけれど
Yes, very skilled.
So professional.
パワフルな怪異として立体化しちゃったんだよね。
はあ、そんなこと言ってた。
So just whatever you do, don't make your versions of yourselves 3D. Like the animators will not be a fan.
その方を責めるつもりはありませんけれど、正直これ以上
Yeah, I'm good.
Very fair decision.
わかった。じゃあやってみるよ。私を4人描けばいいんだっけ？
Yeah, and just keep from stressing out about all these deadlines and people you're trying to impress and all that stuff to
どの戦国なでこが本物の戦国なでこかわからなくなったら大事じゃない。
大事どころじゃありません。アイデンティティ崩壊の危機です。
Oh, that's gonna happen just from you trying to force all of this within this year.
Right.
4人それぞれに個性をつけておいてくれる。
Put a number on each of them.
区別がつくようにしておこうかな。
Wow.
That's a little meta.
Yep.
一番おとなしかった頃の戦国なでこだね。じゃあ僕たちは大人でこと呼ぼう。
Oh boy.
Okay.
This is gonna be some inside out situation here.
Oh, yeah. And when we started with the, oh, I'm trying to find myself.
このヘアスタイルの時に教室でやっちゃったんだよね。
Yeah, the legendary scene, yeah.
一石ぶったんだったね。ではこのパッツンの戦国
Wrath Nadeko.
Cool.
4番目の戦国なでこのヘアスタイルは聞くまでもないね。
Yeah.
心を込めて魂を入れて
project them, and you think you'll be able to control these 4?
Well, and what happens? Will the god one be a god?
えいやって書いちゃったわけかい。ペンを走らせちゃったわけかい。はっはー、愚かだね。
ちなみにそのおののきちゃんはといえば、私とは逆方向へと。
こうなんて言うと、戦国ちゃんのかつての一人称を思い出す。
Oh, yeah.
でも戦国ちゃん、どうして4人の戦国ちゃんは姿をくらましちゃったの？
I didn't get along with them well.
うっかりしてたんです。漫画家になるために努力するっていうのは現在の
But your previous selves did not
Oh,
want that.
yeah, they don't care about that.
望むべくもありません。とんでもない修羅場が平和だった私の引きこもりゲなんとか全員をなだめようとしましたけれど、そんな私が一番
Wow, yep.
消費させたら日本一です。ちなみに窓から逃げたナデコもいます。
Yep. Very scary.
今は一刻も早く神ナデコを含む4人の私を捕らえなくては、このままでは街がパニックに陥ります。
Well, Hachikuji told us the way to do it, but I don't know if that's gonna work here.
ま、そこは曲がりなりにも神様だからね。一般人からお隠れになるための神業はお持ちになっておられることだろうね。
Yeah, we can write that one off for now.
Right.
に問題行動を起こしていたら、その責任はすべて今ナデコが負
You're the one that will suffer.
でした。昔の私は何をするかわからないやつらで。
And now she has to have her persona. You're not me.
Right.
Because all those experiences are why she's, you know, shut in right now. Yeah.
Right. It's all the things she's struggling with.
が私を目撃した場所。
Okay, this will be the easiest one.
公立701中学校の校門前です。
Oh, and now she's conveniently gone to school. Wow, and it's forcing her to actually
Nice.
basically retread all of her old steps here.
Well, and also with the whole, depending on how like non-literal things get, and
Oh, yeah.
like the idea that you have the 4 splits and stuff. All right, cool. But is that also potentially getting at an idea that you weren't actually as dedicated to your manga creation as you would have liked to think?
Yeah.
And maybe that's what your parents were seeing.
Sure,
you know?
maybe. We saw the sketchbooks, and she's been working at this for a while, but hasn't even submitted a one-shot.
Right.
Or wait, no, did she say it got rejected?
She said it didn't lead anywhere.
Ah, okay.
See, this is why you just simplify it and just, draw the number. You know?
Right.
But I do love the detail that it's like, no, you're making copies of your past selves. They had no interest in manga.
None.
Okay,
All right.
Nadeko. Yeah.
Nadeko's the focus now.
I like this.
Yeah.
She had a good scene in the previous episode. I think this works way better as an arc than, rehashing the Tsukihi Yotsuki stuff, even though that was really good. And
This
yeah.
one's more legs to go on, yeah.
Right. And it also, the supernatural elements of it are very much the in a similar way to the whole deal with the slug, it is something that the characters intentionally bring about themselves, and hey, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe you're, not actually addressing the real root issue. And yeah, the idea that you want to be a manga artist, that is
Hard.
that's tough. That's going to be real tough, and especially if you
Yeah.
don't have supportive parents. Man,
I mean, just take the fact that her age, her skill or her talent or what have you.
Yep.
You don't really necessarily have enough if you're going to just keep doing this as you're doing it, because they have been supportive for months and months and months.
Right.
Because she's been shut up in her room all this time since then.
but now it's the, hey, this
This has gone on long enough.
right.
We need to see that you're actually putting something into this and you're not just becoming a shut-in. Now we know at the bare minimum she's not becoming a shut-in entirely, because she is actually growing in that she is desiring to do something difficult and hard.
Right.
Now, is she actually putting in the work necessary to do something hard like this?
Yeah,
It's up for debate right now.
There's absolutely the argument that just because you get more time doesn't necessarily mean you'll, one, put more time into the thing that you need to put time into.
True.
But two, that you won't necessarily, the hours that you put in won't be as effective, or or things like that, right? Like there is something about the pressure of a situation that can, not always, but can help keep you on task, right? Because it's I'm in a situation that I don't like, this is the way I'm going to get out of it, I need to do this, right? Because I do not have the opportunity or the luxury to do this most of the time, and so then there's that urgency when you do have the opportunity. Great.
Yeah, and the story is focusing on that in a couple cool ways. Where one, she had Yotsugi basically break out the calculator and be like, let's actually quantify what kind of time it would take for you to become a master, or proficient enough to be paid basically for this. 10,000 hours. Okay. Have you thought about the life cost associated with that? So it's actually going to take you a lot longer than you think it is. And I like that that's the immaturity side of things from Nadeko. Despite first is that she doesn't actually realize how much time that's going to take. Yeah. And it's been 6 months. So how much time have you actually spent? Nadeko doesn't know. Because in a lot of ways, it's not clear whether or not Nadeko is willingly, purposefully putting in a consistent amount of effort into becoming a manga artist.
If you were putting in a full 8 hours a day into doing it, then okay, that's potentially one thing, right?
In a lot of ways, I would say that's unreasonably more than what I would hope a middle schooler would be putting into their hobby.
Yes.
8 hours a day every day.
Goddamn.
Holy shit.
That'd be the
rare exception,
Put it this way. If you were able to showcase to your parents, right, that I am putting in 8 hours of dedicated work every day while I'm doing this, and yes, as a middle schooler, I'm not going to school, but I am doing this. Just the fact that you're putting in the 8 hours consistently, that'd be very solid arguments towards being like, hey, at least let me do this till, I'm done with high school or something, right?
Having a hobby or something like that, I think, is really, really important. And if it's something where you're passionate enough, where you're willing to put an inordinate amount of time of your daily life into it, the main thing I would be then just concerned is okay, how are you doing in maybe one other thing that's important to you? Are you so all in on this thing here that you've abandoned other things completely?
Sure.
Because I would be curious, hey, Nadeko, are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you engaging with at least one friend through this process here? Because there's a lot of things that you might not be aware of that you're getting taxed on.
Sure.
Mentally or emotionally as you go through this process. And you won't realize that you've been basically being drained of that until you maybe come up for air and you're like, I can't survive. So the idea that she gets to kind of explore that through these other versions of herself who were also at those points in time kind of all in on something.
Oh, sure.
That they and because they're even drawn to be characterized in that way, it'll be even more exacerbated.
Yeah, they are a caricature of her.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm also curious how this will one of the things about Nishio Isin is that his speed by which he cranks out material is ridiculous.
Yes.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that I'm forgetting the name of the series, but the other series that he did that was the 12 books that he did them every month while still doing Monogatari. That's ridiculous. That's insanity levels. And so the idea that then in this story, Nadeko wants to be a manga artist and stuff. Granted, different than writing books, but okay, cool. And the general yes, this is what I must do. Oh, 10,000 hours. Well, if we round up to 25 hours a day, right, to make it easier on the math, right? Just something that's literally impossible, even physical limitations aside, right? Just actually the math doesn't, add up. And then it's we'll just do that. Or, yes, the next most reasonable thing to do, make copies of myself.
Right.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
We'll see.
Right.
In the next episode.
I'm curious what level of going into the supernatural angle of this arc the show will do versus the
This is a reflection of what
this
it's
is a
like
reflection-
to be a manga artist, and or
Yeah.
just to be somebody that's having to break themselves mentally in order to focus so entirely on their passion.
Right, or maybe even maybe she has really strict parents, and they're because she feels like she has to do, like unbelievably well at this thing in order to basically say, hey, I'm taking this seriously. Well, then the only way I can do that is,
Right, and I love that the thing about this is that this is all from her perspective. So to her, it's the like, oh, my strict parents, and even Yotsugi is like, strict parents. These are the ones that spoiled you rotten for years and years,
Right.
and now they've reluctantly or indulgingly like made there be some kind of timeline here. Huh, that's ironic given what you did to Senjugahara.
Yeah.
And so in some ways I'm like, is it that they're actually being super strict? Or is it that in a lot of ways they've been now just realizing as you're growing up that they're like, wait a minute. Instead of just sitting in her room doing nothing and just being, lazy and, being herself where she just gets everything that she wants. Oh, now she's actually trying at something in her room.
right.
And they're like, oh, well, we can tell this is making you maybe unhappy because you're in that like cycle of trying something that's not easy, and thus you get frustrated, and it makes us just uncomfortable. So we're gonna try to put a stop to it. And so it's not that they're actually strict. It might just be that they're like, we don't know how to deal with this new like passion of yours, and so we're like,
I'm also
kind of encroaching on the space, but we also don't know if we want to like break
Right.
it or,
I'm also curious, given
feels
that
very relatable, I think, from a writer's perspective.
Oh, sure. And with the whole thing of the visuals of all the sketchbooks and everything, I'm very curious if you were to crack those open, what would actually be inside them. Because at the end of the day, right, it's not about what you have up here.
Yeah.
Plenty of people have great stuff up here.
Yeah.
That's not actually what makes you a creative.
Right.
What makes you a creative is taking the stuff up here and putting it out here, right? In whatever medium or form that ends up taking.
Yeah.
And so that's the actual skill that you're needing most to develop. It's not actually your narrative sensibilities, even though that's important and things like that.
Sure.
It's the ability to actually crank out pages and make them compelling, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to make them compelling at the beginning. Like, you
Sure.
can just crank out
Yeah,
pages.
if-
like,
right,
in
like-
a lot of ways, that's where you should be starting.
Yeah, if you just get to the point where you have a good work routine and you're making pages consistently that are of, decent quality, fantastic, right?
But I think my point is that fuck trying to make them be decent quality. Your quality is bad. Like that's the point, is that in a lot of ways people are still so obsessed and they're like, well, it needs to be like decent quality. It's like no.
Yeah, right shit.
Right shit.
Yeah, because
Just-
just put
just-
another way,
Yeah.
even though it's the whole thing of like, any project that you're working on, it's my baby.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hang on now. Until you get the 10,000 hours in or the million words out or whatever you
Yeah,
want
you're not
to,
making
whatever you want to
babies.
call it. You're making some ugly babies,
They are wrathful, flirty, or meek, just full on like they're your god,
And let's be
what have
real,
you.
none of these are making it to term.
None of them.
So don't worry about that.
Yep.
Once you get to the second half of the 10,000 hours, once you're like 5,000 hours in, then maybe, be like,
Maybe.
okay, yeah, let's start actually working
Right,
on
but
it.
you also might be like subconsciously starting to do that because you're using your own shit that you've been writing and iterating on over time,
Oh no, yeah.
to where you're just going to naturally also qualitatively get better.
Yeah,
unless you're really not like looking at what you've done.
If you think about it, the fact that that like and this is maybe going too often into the weeds about the whole idea of creative, process, but if you know that something you're writing is shit, great. That means that you're at least in some areas learning from it, right?
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
you think that it's good, that's when you really need to have other people check it,
Right.
because then you'll just keep doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're like, oh, this is shit, fantastic. That means you don't even need to get other people's feedback. It'd probably be helpful, but you don't need to worry about that. Do it again, and it will night and day be better, right?
Yeah.
And it'll still probably be shit, but
Yeah.
it'll be a shinier shit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It might evolve to being dirt, like there you
Right.
go. Yeah.
yeah.
I think that this is a very, I think, relatable story as well for myself, but also just like creatives in general, is the idea that like when you realize that there's just not enough hours in the day, you can't actually put your whole life into a thing, even though you'd like to. You keep coming up against your own like physical and mental limitations in that regard. You look towards the boundaries of your limitations and you go, which of these can I break? Like which of these can I like bend reality to my will and just make it work? And the idea that because we're in Monogatari here, let's use the apparition aspects of these characters and have a monster be created. Let's have something that's you know, channeled from within that can be projected out there that we can deal with and actually like process through.
Because a Faustian bargain, at the end of the day, while silly, you know, is far more reasonable than the alternative where it's you choose option number 2 when there is no Faustian bargain and you just have that story that's in your head for 20 years and you're like, but when I write it, it'll be great. But you're only writing 200 words every other week. And, you know, the amount of time that it would actually take for you to get a shitty first draft is most of your life, you know.
20 years.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like that, if you do the math on that, it don't add up.
It does
right?
not add up.
So,
yeah. And you know, given all that, the idea that Nadeko is presented with like the other ways that this could work that are in a lot of ways scarier than cloning yourself 4 times, you know. All of those required very real like real world consequences of like, oh, these are both different ways of putting yourself out there in a very vulnerable way. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of saying, like, I accept where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And this is me taking a hard look at that and being like, hey, what I have, whatever talent, whatever skill, what do you think of it? Like, what do you think of it? And I like that as Nadeko has grown, you know, through her story, it's been something where she's cast off from the opinions of others. She doesn't need that validation externally coming from here. She's going to keep creating her fiction, her passion here, and she doesn't need other people in that regard. But in a lot of ways, if she wants to be a whole individual again, she needs to look at what the need was that each of these 4 girls was going after, was actually like wanting.
Oh, sure.
And the idea that all this is underneath the context of her being a shut-in, what do you know, as she goes back to the one that she could, you know, probably most easily rein back in first, the meek version of her, where does it lead her? Oh, back to school.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. All those people, all those real-world consequences of the things that you did back then because you were going through some shit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, this is a facsimile of the actual process that she would need to go on if she was willing to do the first option.
Well, and that's
but
where
done in little pieces, that's how you solve a problem to begin with.
Oh,
you break it down into its components.
Well, and especially
and
given
tackle it
that,
piece at a time.
and take again going back to the whole idea that all the stuff that you create right now is going to be shit anyway, so don't worry about it. That's not what you'll debut with, right?
Right.
What you're working on should not be on getting material. And to an extent, it shouldn't even be about becoming better at making material. It should be about working on yourself as a person so that you will be the person that makes, you know, that puts in the hours and all that stuff, right? And so something like going to school, that might seem like a distraction, that might seem irrelevant or whatever, but maybe that's actually something where, because you're worried about it, confronting that fear, that'll give you confidence that you'll then be able to bring into your work, right?
Yep.
Like, you know, it's something that will have some benefit, right? Where, you know, your parents being like, oh, hey, you shouldn't just be shut up in here, right? Maybe it's not that they actually have an issue with you making manga. Maybe it's the fact that they're like, no, but you do need to actually go to school, right? Like, and if you were going to school and doing manga, which granted would be difficult.
Right, and I think that is something that they're already basically saying is going to work out this way because their timeline was with regards to graduating middle school, which means she's going to graduate if she continues being a shut-in. It's just something to do with like, she's doing material or something from in home, or what have you.
Oh,
And
sure.
so she's got some agreement or what have you with the
Yeah,
school. where
she's
that
getting the
can
homework
work.
as a take-home deal.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
But
yeah.
yeah, having also Ogi be the counterbalance in this plot, in addition to Yotsugi being there doing Yotsugi things, is fun because
on the nose.
Yeah, it's a bit on the nose, but it's fun to have a character that exists as a version of another character that was very tied to Sengoku's story. So.
Then show up when Nadeko decided, all right, I'm going to make a bunch of copies of myself, and now I need to work on reining in the copies of myself.
Yeah, and
I
that
think
would,
Ogi might have experience that could help.
Right, and it would be kind of interesting to see if they persist as apparitions separately.
Oh boy. I mean, hey,
But-
more work for the voice actress.
Yeah.
That was one of the things when like
It's not
they
like
got into this-
Kanahanazawa needs it, you know?
right. But like when it's like, oh, there's going to be 5 Nadekos, I'm like, I see.
Yes.
Like, so when's the fourth wall break, coming, right? Like
They both just at each other.
the sound bites, I'm sure, from this are going to be wild.
Legendary. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all of this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if anything that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.